Hello and welcome to the Savvy Gadgets channel with me, Ven, otherwise known as Ian, and this getting started guide to Valheim. Don't forget to like and subscribe, check out our Facebook and Twitter feeds where I post pictures of games that I'm playing currently, and you can donate on Patreon. Don't forget to check out our live streams 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoons. So, first off, character creation. It's a fairly simple affair. You either choose your sex as male or female, you can change your skin tones to be as dark or as light as you like, you can have lots of different hair combinations and beard combinations, change your hair tone and your blondness, give yourself a name and then enter the world. So we're going to cancel out of that and we're going to go with one that I created earlier. So I'm going to start this, so we're going to create a new world. So you can create new and then just give it a name. I've got a getting started one and away we go. So the first part of this is you're being flown in to the world of Valheim. Long ago, the All-Father Odin united the worlds. He threw down his foes and cast them into the 10th world, then split the boughs that held the prison to the world tree and left it to drift unanchored, a place of exile. For centuries this world slumbered uneasily but did not die. As glacial ages passed, kingdoms rose and fell out of sight of the gods. When Odin heard his enemies were growing once again in strength, he looked to Midgard and sent his Valkyries to scour the battlefields for the greatest of their warriors. Dead to the world, they would be born again in Valheim. Now you do have a bird god during the game called, it's either Hugin or Hugin, not entirely sure, pronunciation and all of that. And every now and again he'll pop up with a little icon above his head so you can talk to him. Very wet and windy. Here we go, these stones are important. Right, so what these stones are the different bosses that you will face during the game. So let's talk to Hugin. I am Hugin, sent here to guide you on your travels. The megaliths surrounding these sacrificial stones represent the Forsaken, which you must slay in order to ascend to Valhalla. And away he flies. Well. These magical stones were scattered throughout the lands of Odin as signposts pointing towards the ritual grounds of the Forsaken. If inspected closer, this one will reveal the summoning place of Ecthia, your first prey, which is actually a deer. He is a mighty beast, so you need to properly arm yourself before even attempting to defeat him, and the best way to defeat him is with a bow and arrow. So you click on this and it says, oh look, it's literally just over there. That's nice. Okay, great. So that's not too far away. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we need to give ourselves some weapons. We need to gather some wood and some stone. I'm not actually near water either, so get a map. So let's start picking up some wood, because we're going to have to build some stuff like a shelter and workbenches and that kind of thing. Stones are always useful. Now these glowing rooms, they give you, sometimes they give you information, but generally not. It's the smaller ones. I mean, these generally say, hey, there's a sky above you and grass underfoot. So yeah, there's grass grows underfoot and the sky is blue overhead. There will always be earth and a home. The other ones that you will come across will tell you about the grey dwarves and how dangerous they are and that they come out at night mostly. Sound familiar? If you're a big fan of aliens, it should do. So, it's basically, oh look, deer. Again, another one that's useful with a bow and arrow. Boars. These are a source of leather and food. And food is actually an important part of the game. I bring tidings. Do you? Really? You found a snack. Consume it to improve your health and stamina. Be aware that before long you will grow hungry again, so always have at least a couple of different meals ready. So food is important. Having a supply of food in your inventory is also important. It keeps up your total level of health and your total level of stamina. Now I don't actually have anything to eat. People for a tasty treat. You can cook them though, so that's what I intend to do. So the other forms of food are mushrooms and berries. In this case, raspberries. And they just grow lying around. Ah, here we go. Mushrooms. You can just eat them. You don't have to cook them. Pick up some of that, some of that, some of this. A new crafting recipe. Okay, so let's craft. Can't create a stone axe, can't create a hammer, I need more stones. There's a stone, there's a bit of wood. Right, so first off let's craft ourselves a stone. I need more stones. 4 stones for an axe. Oh, hello. He's getting about. Most items must be crafted, however, due to your recent departure from Midgard, you will have to recall the true shape of objects. Just pick up things and it will all come back to you, I'm sure. My lesser brother, Munin, tells me you can fashion a stone axe out of wood and stone. Which I fully intend to do when I find enough stone. There we go. Right. Okay, so in order to craft, press the tab key. And now we've got enough wood and enough stone, we can craft ourselves our first weapon. Now later on, stone becomes an absolute pain in the neck because you just seem to find tons of it. So I'm not near water, which is not the be all and end all of everything at the moment, but it's always nice. You don't need to drink. It's not a part of the game. Now that I've got an axe, I can actually start cutting down trees and things like that. So pressing the F2 key, and as you do things, you improve your skill. Ah, our first enemy. The Greylings. They're in the meadows. There I am. And they're not particularly difficult. Now, these guys generally drop resin, and sometimes they drop wood as well. Stones, need plenty of stone. Don't have to cut trees. There is plenty of wood lying around, and it does respawn. Now, the reason I'm complaining about not having water nearby is purely because, I'm sure we'll find some not too far away, is you get flint. Flint always gathers around the watery sort of areas on the shores, basically, and they help you build arrows and other crafting things. Now, also the easiest way to get meat is off of a particular creature that lives near the water called a neck, and they're very easy to kill, easier than boars, so it's always worth finding a body of water and picking up some flint. But what we really need to do, I suppose, is build ourselves some kind of shelter. Now, quite often you'll find logs laying around on the floor, or these stumps. Like there's a log in a stump. Oh, there's a couple of logs in a stump. so let's find a flattish piece of land where we can build some kind of huts. This area looks pretty good over here. Oh, you do come across these prefab buildings, like these ones, like this one over here. Not entirely sure what that's supposed to be other than a toilet, I guess. With a mushroom in it, not a great place to keep some mushrooms. But I do need to start building. Right, okay, so at night, your character does get cold. It doesn't kill your character, but your character will take damage if you're in an area that is extremely cold, like the mountains. So in order to stave off the cold, it's always good to have a fire kicking about. Okay, so I'm going to build near the stones. It's always wise. Right, okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is craft myself a hammer. So I now have a hammer, I now have the ability to build things, a workbench and a new cook station. This tool will raise mighty halls and towering fortifications. Start by building a workbench. This in turn will enable you to construct other things. Okay. So, the way that I usually do this is I start off with, if you select the hammer, so we go with crafting and workbench. Does it have to be a certain distance away from that? Quite probably. Right, okay, in that case we'll just deforest this area, I think. Why is that a problem just going? Why is it? Maybe because it's not flat ground. Right. Back to Hugin. The workbench allows you to craft complex items, as well as giving you access to lots more building pieces to construct with the hammer. In order to use the workbench, however, it has to be enclosed. You can see all of the bits coming up there on the left hand side. Wooden poles, wooden beams, stake walls, all of that. A standing torch, a chest, a bed. Right, okay, so we are now officially in business. But, like I said, this needs to be enclosed, and so does your bed in order to use it. So, pick the building, pick some walls, and just to start off with, I'm just going to stand behind this thing. Because there's a rock in the way, I can't place that. So, about there, and about there. Turn it around, and if I just click on the side there and there, and then choose a roof, that should. The station is too exposed. Okay, in that case we will need to build it up a little bit more. These side bits like that, and like that. And now we can use the workbench. Now the same is also true of the bed, and it's always useful if you're going to have a bed to build the next best thing. A fire. So the fire obviously gives you warmth. As you see, I've now got an icon in the top right hand corner, and at night that will keep me warm. So I now need to build a bed, which is under furniture. There we go. I'm going to put my bed close to the fire and do almost exactly the same thing. Now the bed is actually a spawn point. So let's get rid of the hammer, because whilst you've got the hammer you can't do much. Sleep the night away in your bed and wake feeling refreshed and full of energy. Other improvements to your home would be some chests where you can store items. It is good practice to always have some spare equipment. That is true. If something unfortunate should happen to you while exploring, if you die, technically you're already dead, but if you die in this world, you leave like a stone behind, and all of your items are at that stone, so you have to do what's commonly referred to as a corpse run. So you have to run there, click on the stone, all your items are given back to you, but if you're still being attacked by whatever it was that killed you in the first place, you're going to have to be either really quick about it and get out there. Right, so let's get rid of Hugin, because night is beginning to draw in. We'll go for building. We'll do the same thing again. We need to enclose the bed. Oh, we've run out of wood. That's not good. Need some more wood. Let's take that out. We're going to have to deforest this area anyway. Stone. Again, wood is not a difficult commodity to come by, neither is stone. The greylings, the larger versions, the grey dwarves, which are in the Black Forest biome, when you progress. Come back here, you! Come back! You dropped resin! Stop running away! Got him! Got him! Ah, finally! Some wood. Wood is good. So items that are dropped on the ground that you haven't picked up have that sort of like particle effect coming off of them, so you can see them from a distance. Oh look, berries. Berries and wood. This is always good. Right, so we'll actually show... Oh, there's quite a few here, look. That's quite nice. Ooh, proof by jumping. Pick up these berries over here. Right, so food, as I said, is important. So we're going to click on the berry, we're going to click on the mushroom. You can eat 3 different types of food, and they will give you different levels of regeneration. So as you can see, I only have 20 health at the minute, but because I've eaten and I'm feeling nourished, I'm slowly gaining health back. And my overall amount of health has increased. More wood. Alright, don't worry about pickaxes at the minute. You will get a pickaxe, but you have to kill the first boss for it. Do I have enough? I have 27 pieces of food, so that should be enough to finish this off, I hope. And this will be like the first day sorted. Go. Right click, swap over to this. Now I've got a heat source. Oh, burning! A heat source, i.e. I'm on fire. And I've got a workbench and I've got a bed. Right, so next and last thing I need to do is craft the cook station over the top of the fire. And now I can start cooking the meat that I've found off of the board. So I've only got one. You can only put 2 on the spit anyway. And you know when this is done because it actually makes another hissing sound. Now, upgrading the workbenches is simply a case of adding other bits around it. So there we go, that just hissed. And there we go, I now have cooked meat. So although my workbench is here, I could have the next bit outside. But if you need to repair your tools at the workbench, just click this hammer and it's all done. I'm now ready for another day. So on my first day, I've built the workbench and got it in a position where I can use it. I've got a bed and somewhere to sleep, and I've got some heat and a cooking station. So that's the start of my first day. Gathering the resources, getting myself set up, and then setting a spawn point, and then going to sleep. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Get onto our Facebook and Twitter feeds, check out the pictures that I post of the games that I'm playing, and don't forget to check out our live streams on Sunday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and donate at Patreon. But until the next time, thank you very much for watching. Hope this getting started guide was useful to you. But until then, bye bye.